Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you listen to this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, definitely come check us out. I think we've grown over the past few weeks to almost 7,000 members. So if you're a coach, consultant, or service provider, and you're not a part of our community, come check us out. Now, with that being said, I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community today, Sue Sadana. Welcome, Sue.
Hi, Extus. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. So, Sue, tell myself and the rest of the community, what is it that you do?
All right. Well, I am a life and personal development coach who works mostly with people that are going through transitions in life. And I think COVID was really a great opportunity for me because it was like a world transition for people. So I basically work with them to learn mindset techniques and use some coaching techniques to really be able to kind of not really pay attention what's going on in the circumstance and still stay focused on what they need to do. So it doesn't matter what happens, they'll still be able to achieve the success that they desire.
Awesome, love that. Now, before you became a life coach, what did you do before?
Before I started coaching, I was a foster parent and I ran a therapeutic foster home, which I still do a little bit part-time now. But I think that's really what kind of got me more into the coaching, because it was always a constant, solving problems, helping people through transitions, helping people work together, but still be able to focus and start, creating a life for themselves that they can be proud of.
Mm-hmm. And how did you discover coaching? How did you stumble upon it? I know for me, I joined the U.S. Marines. I spent 8 years in there, but that was like my first, because I just had a lot of time on my hands while I was in there, and that's kind of what was my first type of experience with what coaching and consulting was. What about your journey? How did you discover what coaching was?
Well, I've always been a self-awareness, like nut kind of thing. So since the time, I think I got my first self-help book when I was 13. It was a Tony Robbins book. And really kind of after reading that book, something inside me had changed. So I'd spent the next so many years kind of learning all of these different things, trying different things like yoga, teacher training, all trying different methods, because I really wanted to, my goal really in life was to live the best possible life I could. That was my go-to, that's where I'm headed for. And I grew up very like in a traditional East Indian home. So I think a lot of it was about to kind of being okay with maybe not following the same rules that my parents had followed or how they lived their lifestyle, and to make everything kind of okay so they were comfortable with what I'm doing. So do you kind of know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So you said you read your first self-help book at 13, huh?
Yeah, my aunt gave that to me because she was into a lot of holistic and Reiki, and this is going back a long time ago. So,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't really as talked about. It
Yeah.
was just kind of behind the scenes. But because I was running the foster home, so I was trying all of these techniques because I had a wide variety of people to try them on. So I was trying things and see what worked and what didn't work. And then after probably 10 years of that, I had hit my kind of fork in the road where I kind of felt there was a bigger purpose for me, or a greater purpose, that I'd be able to serve more. And I think the value of the techniques that I have will help so many more people. And because I had kind of stumbled down into a little bit of a self-destructive, let's say, hole where my relationship broke up. I wasn't feeling fulfilled or purposeful. It was like I was feeling kind of empty and invisible, and my kids were going off to college. So it was during that period that I got myself a coach, because I'd heard about it, but I never really committed to doing anything like that, because a lot of the times I did it on my own. But the problem with doing it on your own was that, you only do it for the little time that maybe you're reading the book. It's hard to maintain the commitment and the consistency. So I found when I worked with the coach, I was able to kind of create the habit of accountability. So in turn, it made the transition, or like my change from, basically being at the bottom to kind of back at the top again. It just expedited everything, and everything was happening so kind of quickly, but everything was sinking in, because I think when you really have a space where you can kind of talk about you and the things that you're going through and what's all those different thoughts in your mind and start putting them where they should be, we don't take that time when we're not in front of a coach. Everyone, people can say that they do it, but it's a really hard task to do. I find when you have that coach and you have that space, it makes it almost like the work almost is easier. It's more exciting and you're more tuned in.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is so true as well. So I know for myself, for a long time, I tried to like coach myself, right? But as you said, it's you could do it for a while, but you just fall off track. It's a lot better to have someone outside of you who could hold you accountable and who you could actually have a back and a forth with and that person keeps you accountable, right? And I think I see it so often as well too with most individuals, because I help coaches and consultants with the business growth side of things, and a lot of the times they come to me and they say, I'm really good at helping my clients do this thing. I could really help them. But when it comes to me, I really struggle at this. And they some of them kind of feel bad in a sense. I'm like, no, that's exactly how it is, because you really can't see. I believe we all have the blind spots and we really can't see them. So instead of feeling bad that you can't fix every single problem yourself, is saying that that's just what it is, and find someone who will see those gaps and who will kind of identify where you're lacking and who could now hold you accountable and point you in the right direction, right?
Well, and I think it's also that the coach can, because of the way their relationship is set up, a coach can really be, I'm trying to think, like more honest with you. Sometimes when you're playing stories in your mind, you have a tendency to maybe lie to yourself still, just that little, just that little bit. But with a coach and having that conversation with someone, they can stop you. Or suggest, is that really something that's a legitimate happening? Are you just maybe kind of making that up a little bit to make yourself feel better? Or sometimes what I even find with my clients is they're telling themselves things almost to feel worse. It's hard to keep on the positive train and start looking, even when something bad happens or you fail at a business, but it's hard to kind of find the positive in those situations. And I find with the coach, it's really a lot easier because there's someone else kind of like to bounce the ideas off you. So you don't kind of go down that rabbit hole with you, especially with yourself.
Yeah. And I realize trying to do this on your own is, and I've heard this saying, I'm not sure if you've come across the saying where it says people are addicted to the struggle, which is a lot of the times we think we're solving a problem, we think we're trying to move in the direction we want to, but then when you look at the dialogue we have, whether it's with other people or ourselves, you start realizing that most of that dialogue is just a whole bunch of excuses as to why we don't have what we want or why we can't do what we want to do on all these different things, right? I believe a good coach is definitely able to spot that and be able to help point that person in the right direction, right?
Well, it's true, because whatever habit we've created, and sometimes that habit is discomfort, becomes comfortable. And the scary part is not knowing, oh my God, what if you do succeed? That's kind of an unknown. And I think sometimes people are almost not like afraid of it, but they're not sure what that's going to be like for them.
Yeah.
Because, they haven't really experienced that. They haven't talked through those ideas, because usually when you're making things up in your brain, it's not that, oh my God, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to nail it. Like, I think people say that, but I'm talking about like when you're laying in bed late at night, 4 a.m, and you wake up and you're like, because the truth is, like, even just that one little morsel of doubt or negativity, it's like you'll be surprised when it comes up and how it starts to play out into your life. Then your morning is different, and the way you're interacting with people is different, and then you start making that of the reality.
Yeah. So let me ask you a really hard question. This is going to be a hard question. You might have never done this before, but what does it mean to be disciplined?
Well, that's actually what I'm going to discuss tonight on my show, because I'm also like, we've had COVID, and honest to God, we all slid a little bit. My schedule used to be a lot earlier in the mornings and things, but we were home. So now my schedule is a little bit later, and then summer came and the weather's been beautiful and I've been spending lots of time. And I was just thinking to myself, you know what, I really want to get back to kind of being disciplined again and having some willpower. So, because I think really if you're disciplined in your life, you can be disciplined in your success.
Hmm.
And I think that's really that's really where I want to take it, is I want to really create some serious discipline, or not serious, but more discipline in my life. And I think it'll make me more in control of my life. And that way it'll be making me more in control of whether like my business is 6 figures, so then I can take it to 7 figures.
Hmm.
And there'll be a comfort there because I'll know I'll have built up the confidence of being disciplined. So I think it'll make the switch a lot easier.
Yeah, awesome. Now, what about oh, you said you have a show?
Well, I do a Facebook Live. I've just started it. I'm on my 4th webisode, I like to call it. So what I do is I gather different people from different kind of businesses and areas of the community. And 3 or 4 of us sit down and we just have like a conversation. So it'd be like, if you're watching it, you're just hearing a conversation of 4 people talking about some of the things that really are impacting us,
Hmm.
whether it comes to our business or our personal lives, because I think the two are so intertwined. Like you can't, there has to be some alignment. So, and I think people also need to hear, because we had that time in isolation, what's going on for their neighbors, and not like what's going on for them, but like, maybe understanding that they're not the only ones feeling a certain way, or they're not the only people that have lost their job and had to reinvent themselves. And, or they've had to learn to be disciplined all over again because they got really comfy where they were working and now things have changed and they have to adapt.
Hmm.
So yeah, so basically it's just a conversation, and I do 4 different people every week, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Or maybe I'm going to become an influencer one day. I don't know.
Love it. When's your next episode, Aaron?
It's every Thursday nights from 8 to 9.
Mm, awesome.
So maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to have you on as my guest.
Yes, why not? Why not? Just come together. Are there any drinks allowed?
I wish, but we're all on Zoom. So I guess if you're drinking in your own place, it's all right. As long as
Right.
we can still understand you.
As we get to the place, it's like, oh, I just want to just tell you this right now.
Well, and sometimes they say liquor in, truth out. So it might be a more honest conversation.
I love it. I love it. Okay, good, good. And so what's one skill you'd say you've really practiced that's gotten you to where you are today in terms of your level of success?
I think the one skill is to really create the success type of mindset, and to really have like cleaning out my thoughts. So now my thoughts are very controlled, intentional, and I'm really at a more of a space of living life on purpose, as opposed
Hmm.
to a purposeful life, living on purpose, because I think that's really what kind of takes you to the next level of your life.
Hmm. So,
I'm not just waiting for something to take me somewhere. It's like, no, whether I'm brushing my teeth or I'm going to a networking event or I'm talking to a client, it's like, it's intentional, it's purposeful, and I'm 100% present.
yeah, yeah, and that's so powerful as well. So I know when I was first getting started on this whole journey, when even before personal development, it was almost like I was rushing to get to somewhere, right? So I'm just rushing through every single thing just to get to somewhere. It's like, where are you trying to get to when you start realizing that really the game of life is to be present and to be able to, number one, try to design your life the way you want it to be. Not the way, not saying I'm going to do this, I can rush to this other thing, but more based on how do I want my life to be? And then come from a place of just living into that. And that way for myself, I felt like that's when it really freed me up to realize like, I don't have to just rush through life to try to get anywhere. I could just like literally be present, be here and just enjoy life, right?
Well, that's the key. And I actually came to the same realization over the summer, because I think even in the coaching industry, a lot of people start, they want a 6-figure and then go to 7-figure, and they're so focused on the number. But what they're forgetting about is that number only gives you a feeling, right? That's why we're striving for the number. And sometimes we're so busy chasing after the number and living in the future that we're missing the fact that, guess what? You've got the feeling right now. And you know what? If you just kind of stay with the feeling, the numbers are going to come.
Exactly. Love
But
that.
it's just like, you'd be surprised, and that means you've kind of achieved one of your goals. So you can kind of be like, okay, I want to be even happier, and if you start, I think, working from that perspective, as opposed to chasing a numerical value, I think it's a lot easier for you to transition your business, because also, coaching is a sensitive kind of personal, very kind of topic or job or career, I should say. I think it's more of a lifestyle. I think it's more who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that like if people kind of stay present, I think that it makes it easier and to stop chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
once you stop chasing, you can actually do everything. You know, everything you're doing has so much more. Before it used to be happiness, now it's joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I think that really that's what everyone's reaching for.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I know one thing I learned early on, I remember having a conversation with one of my mentors, and they're like, what are you doing, or what do you need to do? And it was kind of like a trick question, because it's like, I want to do this thing, I want to do this thing, and it's like, no, you don't do, you just become, you be. Who do you need to be? That's a better question. So
Yeah, and who do you want to be?
mm-hmm.
I think it's really like, who do you want to be? Because we are so lucky to live right now. Like, you know what I mean? The world is amazing. Like before COVID, like you could travel anywhere in the world. I can video chat my relatives in India, you know, just whenever I want. I don't have to wait for the phone lines to be open. I might be dating myself, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, so it's like, in this amazing world, it's like we're so lucky to be alive. It's like, look at all the things that we have, the opportunities to try, to like different foods we can eat. You know, we're not stuck in this little thing. So I always tell people, like, dream big, ask big, want big,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because you're going to get whatever you want.
Awesome stuff. Love it. Love it. Now, what about books, right? Are you a pretty big reader? Are you big into reading books, listening to podcasts, watching videos? How do you get your current information?
Well, I do. I'm a big reader. I love to read books. I just finished reading The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little like, so I'll read a book and then I will read it again. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm on my second read of it, because I think the first time I get a certain amount of information, but then the second time I read it, I'm really able to, it's almost like you're able to, and it's such a small, simple, easy read book, but
Mm-hmm.
the information coming out of there is so, you know, it's so necessary,
Yeah. And
you
books are
know,
so
for me to learn
fascinating.
myself, for me to share, even though it's another, you know, it's a kind of like, it says this similar things to a lot of the other books I've read, but
Mm-hmm.
just in the different explanations, it really allows you, especially with my coaching, because I meet a variety of different people, you know, so it gives me like different ways to kind of put the information forward so people can intake it easily. So I do a lot of reading. I listen to podcasts. I listen to Brooke Castillo. I listen to MFCEO. He's a little bit of a rebel, but yeah, that's kind of, and I do a lot of work in the community as well. So I spend a lot of time kind of mixing and talking. I do a lot of talking and I do a lot of listening. So I spend a lot of time going out in the community, whether it's volunteering, so I can kind of hear what's going on for the people around me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome stuff. Love it. Love it. Now, if someone wanted to reach out, what's the best way for them to be able to connect with you?
I think the best way is probably Facebook. I'm all over Facebook. I'm on Facebook anyway. And as well as I have a website, it's www.suesadana.com, or
Awesome.
email. Yeah, I think now with technology, I've had people reaching out to me from all different ways. So I hope I'm not forgetting one. Or they can definitely just call me. I believe on my Facebook business page, Life in Transition, my phone number is there.
Mm-hmm.
But don't
Okay.
call me if you want to get married. That's my only stipulation.
Awesome. And guys, so if you listen to this interview on the live or the replay, all the links Sue just mentioned, they will be either above or below this video, so you can click and get connected right to her. So Sue, hey, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. Really appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
No, I just want to say thank you so much. I love meeting people all over the world because I like expanding my community.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And I
Love it.
love to talk about coaching because I really think that every person needs their own coach.
Right. Love it. Love it. Well, hey, thanks again, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Awesome. Okay, Extus, you have a great day.
You do the same. See you.
Okay, bye-bye.